We're committed as a group to zero emissions for 2035. This is all part of that programme. We've got to be moving in large steps like here and Basildon and other places you'll see like Weston-super-Mare and so on. You've got to be moving at that sort of pace if you're going to deliver that. Rowntree Way obviously our pride and joy after last year's electrification. The Zebra funding from the government, we applied for 15 buses for here to start with, and then the Department for Transport came round afterwards and said to us, not everybody's taken up their option, do you want some more? And then we decided to pitch in for 70, not expecting to get 70, but we got 70. But panic started, to be quite honest with you. Sunday for us is a reasonably busy day, but most of the fleet is still in. But when they are all in, it is absolutely jammed in here. 76 charges that we can do here. They go on automatically, they stop charging when they're fully charged. Average time to charge?
Between 4 and 6 hours.
If everything goes to plan, and even if it's cold, everything will complete its scheduled running line. Some will come in with as low as 10%. Generally the driver starts to panic. If you can imagine a combination of a driver who realises that he's only got to go to Wyndham once more and then he can go home, but actually it's showing 8%. You tend to hear about it fairly quickly. Live data on the screen all day as well about where they are, what state they are. Yeah. We consistently keep them on the routes they're supposed to be on, and we've been really good at that. I'm quite proud of that. No drivers have moaned about them. We had a few at the beginning when they started to arrive going, I'm not driving one of those, I like diesels. No one's complained. And I've never known that in my entire life in the industry, so it's been brilliant. So this was part of the original depot, of course. This is where all the big excavation had to go on, because we had to dig out to put the bases in for this, but we've also got to be able to, underneath here, to be able to feed off the main network and the main cables here. One of the reasons why we're very fond of the gantries is it saves people driving over cables and various other things, which is the sort of challenge you have in this business. So, do you want to have a look at a repower? There's one behind you. As you can tell, this probably arrived Thursday or Friday. The original idea was we sent a street deck and we got the same one back. That hasn't worked because the order time has slipped. We've got one that's got something to do with Aberdeen on it now. Just the way it works. But anyway, come on and you'll see the inside. Broadly is very similar to the new ones. This one was a 12 reg street deck, I think. So all the running gear, all the drivetrain stuff was the first job, and then it was refurbished after that. Right. You know, a repower is probably half the price, broadly. And although the chassis is not something that's new, everything else about this is new. And Norfolk have just released some figures about reduced environmental effect, reduced decibels, reduced everything really, and it's had a huge effect. But a really exciting project, one that the team here are hugely proud of because of the delivery of it. And it's just so nice to see such a big impact when you go into Norwich City and you see what's running now and the impact it's had on a network that, let's face it, looked quite tired before, and is now really, really buzzing and really growing.
The Bus Inspectors Podcast.
Yeah, it's got all its mates here.
Come with us behind the scenes as the bus inspectors continue their project to grade the nation's historic buses and coaches.
Pretty much everything from the horse bus up until the Dennis Dart 1990.
Do others grade their heritage?
The Railway Heritage Trust worked with Network Rail and Historic England to decide which ones should be saved.
We'll consider the challenges of preserving 21st century buses.
They rely a lot more on computers than ever before.
Much more electronic, much more automatic, and frankly, much more difficult to manage.
And a contentious contender for Britain's most significant bus of all time.
There have been more of them on the streets of London alone than there ever were route masters, let alone in the rest of the country.
Listen up. Episode 4 of the Bus Inspectors podcast.
It isn't so much spanners anymore as keyboards.
Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts.
We debated every possible thing we could find.
And at thebusinspectors.com.